Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is me playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey has never been afraid to speak about issues that matter to him, and that willingness to engage in difficult conversations once again placed him in the spotlight.
Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is me playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
To give you a direct statement right there.
During his appearance on The View, the discussion turned towards school safety and the work he has been doing to support communities following tragic acts of violence. As the questions became more focused, the conversation shifted from a routine interview into a detailed discussion about finding practical solutions rather than simply repeating familiar talking points. The topic centered on Matthew's advocacy against violence, particularly gun violence, and the efforts that followed the tragic shooting at Robb Elementary School in his hometown.
Responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment.
One of the hosts noted his emotional appearance at the White House the previous year and pointed to the small pins being worn on the panel before asking about the Green Lights grant initiative. The question opened the door for McConaughey to explain the purpose behind the project and why he believed it could make a meaningful difference. "Thank you for the opportunity to," McConaughey began, before explaining what his team discovered after the tragedy at Robb Elementary and similar incidents across the country. He noted that lawmakers had approved major bipartisan funding intended to help improve school safety, making billions of dollars available for districts seeking additional security measures. On paper, the resources existed, but the expected results were not happening. As the initiative examined the situation more closely, an unexpected problem became clear. Months after the legislation had passed, only a small number of school districts had submitted applications, and even fewer had successfully received grant funding. The money was available, yet many schools were still unable to access it.
Against violence and gun violence in particular. And you're Texan, and you spoke so passionately at the White House last year in the wake of that shooting at Robb Elementary in your hometown of
That's why we're wearing these little pens, right?
And now you have launched the Green Lights Grant Initiative to help make schools safer.
Yes.
Please tell us about that.
Thank you for the opportunity to. So what we found out after what happened at Robb Elementary and many other schools, the first bill was passed in 30 years to help make schools safer, Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, billions of dollars to safen schools. What I find out months after the bill's been passed is that very few applications are going in from the school districts. And for those that are applying, very few are getting granted and awarded. So the money's still there. And we're like, wait, where's the gap? Well, we found out that these superintendents have to fill out these grants to the government. A lot of them are driving the school bus and they're the PE teacher, and this grant process is 50 pages and it's intimidating.
Wow.
And I don't know about y'all, but I have trouble making it through filling a custom card out without having to scratch stuff out. It is intimidating, so they don't have the expertise at the time. The government wants these grants to be filed. They want to spend the money. It's use it or lose it money. And if we don't spend that money that the government has by 2026, it could be reallocated.
In 2021, you considered to run for governor of the state of Texas. Do you think political office is in your future? Can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful, yes.
That raised an important question about where the process was breaking down. The answer turned out to be surprisingly simple. Many school superintendents were already balancing multiple responsibilities, with some also driving school buses, teaching physical education, or filling several other roles within smaller districts. On top of those daily demands, they were expected to complete lengthy government grant applications that stretched to nearly 50 pages. For many administrators, the process felt overwhelming, leaving valuable funding sitting unused despite the urgent need for safer schools. Matthew McConaughey explained that the available funding was never the real problem. According to him, the government wants these grants to be submitted and the money to be used for its intended purpose. However, there is an important deadline. If the allocated funding is not distributed by 2026, those resources could be redirected elsewhere, leaving many schools without access to money specifically intended for safety improvements.
And if we don't spend that money that the government has by 2026, it could be reallocated.
In 2021, you considered to run for governor of the state of Texas. Do you think political office is in your future? Can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you think you would get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is me playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
To give you a direct statement right there.
That reality became one of the driving forces behind the Green Lights Grant Initiative. The conversation then shifted toward Matthew's future and whether public office could eventually become part of his journey. He was reminded that he had considered running for governor of Texas in 2021 and was asked if politics might still be in his future. McConaughey answered thoughtfully, explaining that he would consider such a path only if he believed it was where he could be the most useful. Rather than making bold political promises, his response emphasized service and finding the place where his efforts could have the greatest impact. Returning to the topic of school safety, the discussion highlighted the purpose behind the Green Lights Grant Initiative. The program was created to bridge the gap between billions of dollars in available government funding and the practical challenges many schools face when trying to secure those resources. Matthew described how school administrators often balance numerous responsibilities every day, leaving little time to navigate long and complicated grant applications.
When you consider to run for governor of the state of Texas, do you think political office is in your future? Can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful.
By simplifying that process and providing guidance throughout the application system, the initiative aims to help more schools successfully obtain funding for important safety upgrades before the available resources expire. The goal is straightforward. Remove unnecessary barriers so communities can benefit from money that has already been set aside to improve school safety across the country. The discussion took a noticeable turn when the conversation shifted from school safety to politics. As the interview continued, the focus moved away from the Green Lights Grant Initiative and toward Matthew McConaughey's personal political views. The change in direction immediately altered the tone of the exchange, setting up one of the most talked about moments of the interview. Joy Behar asked whether someone with views perceived as anti-gun could realistically be elected in Texas. It was a direct political question that invited a simple headline-worthy answer. Rather than responding with a short statement that could easily be interpreted as taking one side or the other, McConaughey chose a different approach. One thing about me in politics is, to give you a direct statement right there, is be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing. Instead of stepping into a partisan debate, McConaughey made it clear that he was not interested in reducing a complicated issue to a single political label. His response stayed measured, respectful, and focused on avoiding the kind of exchange that often dominates political discussions. Rather than allowing the conversation to become about party lines, he kept control of his message and refused to let others define his position for him. The discussion briefly returned to the possibility of a future political career. Asked again whether public office remained a possibility after previously considering a run for governor of Texas, McConaughey repeated that such a decision would depend entirely on whether he believed it was the place where he could be most useful. The answer reflected the same careful approach he had maintained throughout the interview. Instead of becoming drawn into an increasingly divisive political debate, McConaughey redirected the conversation toward practical solutions. He emphasized the importance of improving school safety, encouraging responsible decision-making, and supporting efforts that could produce meaningful results without turning every discussion into a political confrontation. His calm and disciplined approach contrasted sharply with the increasingly pointed questions, and the exchange quickly became one of the most widely discussed moments from the interview, generating significant conversation across social media and online platforms. The conversation quickly spread across social media, where many viewers shared their reactions to Matthew McConaughey's calm and measured approach. Supporters praised him for keeping the discussion focused on possible solutions instead of becoming drawn into an increasingly partisan exchange. One post read, "Matthew McConaughey just schooled Joy Behar on how to stay classy under pressure. Politicians, take notes." Another commented, "The View tried to corner him, and he handled it like a pro. That's why we love him." The exchange rapidly became one of the most discussed television moments online. Others criticized the interview itself, arguing that the discussion shifted away from the original topic and became more focused on political disagreement than the school safety initiative McConaughey had been explaining. Different viewers reached different conclusions, but the interview sparked a wide range of opinions across social media, with thousands weighing in on how the conversation unfolded. Ultimately, the moment became about more than politics alone. It highlighted the challenge of remaining composed during difficult conversations, while continuing to emphasize practical solutions over confrontation. Throughout the exchange, Matthew McConaughey consistently returned to the importance of school safety, constructive dialogue, and finding common ground instead of allowing the discussion to become dominated by political divisions. What are your thoughts on the interview? Did Matthew McConaughey handle the discussion effectively, or do you agree more with Joy Behar's approach? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more viral debates, memorable celebrity moments, and the biggest stories making headlines. As the cameras stopped rolling, the conversation continued far beyond the studio walls. Clips from the interview quickly spread across social media, with viewers debating every question, every response, and every tense moment that unfolded. Some praised Matthew McConaughey for remaining calm under pressure, while others believed the tough questions deserved direct answers. One thing was impossible to ignore. The interview had sparked a conversation that reached millions of people. Regardless of which perspective viewers agreed with, the exchange demonstrated how quickly a routine celebrity interview can transform into one of the most talked about television moments of the week. Rather than becoming defined by confrontation alone, the discussion highlighted the importance of staying composed, communicating clearly, and standing by deeply held beliefs even when facing difficult questions in front of a national audience. Moments like these are what keep people talking long after the credits roll. They create debates, inspire countless online reactions, and remind everyone that live television can still produce completely unpredictable moments. Whether remembered as a thoughtful discussion or a heated exchange, this interview has certainly earned its place among the most memorable appearances on The View. What are your thoughts? Did Matthew McConaughey handle the situation the right way, or should the conversation have taken a different direction? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next unforgettable celebrity moment, viral debate, or headline-making interview.